Hello, friends. Welcome to Squared Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today I'll be showing you how I set up my goals and tasks for the month of May within my agenda planner. So let's get planning. And I've got some highlighters here ready to go, along with my friction pen, which I'll be using. Okay, you guys, so I have this monthly spread already set up and decorated with the theme I'm using in my agenda planner for the month. And I've pulled out my quarter two goals page to guide the first three goals that I'll be setting up here on the sheet. So, my first goal will be a work goal, again, directly from the quarterly goals. Then, my second goal will be a health goal. My third goal will be a mindset goal, and the fourth goal I will choose from my vision board once I get to that point. So I have a couple of markers here that I'm just going to add some color in with those and number the goals. And of course, I will need a number 4 here once I get to that goal to set it up. So like I said, I pull my monthly goals directly from my quarterly goals, and I reference the time markers that are within those quarterly goals to help me know what I should be getting done within a month time frame, on the weekly and on the daily. So I have 3 pretty defined areas for that first work goal, which is to update all of my Etsy files for 2026. I didn't quite get everything done in April that I had planned, so I'm going to do more of a combination month with 2 of my milestones and hopefully be able to get those 2 items done within the month of May, combining the 2. So the first thing is to complete one size each week. I have 5 different sizes, so that should break down pretty nicely. I also need to block in at least 4 hours a week to work on these tasks and to finish those Etsy files, which I think will be enough if I stay diligent. Also, I need to monitor that time and progress each week and see where I'm at, adding in hours during my downtime if needed. That's a pretty big project and takes up a lot of my goal energy for this quarter. So the rest of my goals aren't quite as intense. My health goal is one that I always carry, which is to try to make some body transformations. This month, I'm going to be focusing on just decreasing my body fat and maintaining muscle. I did actually lose fat in March, but it looks like in April that was reversed. So I'm not really sure why, because I thought I was being pretty diligent with my diet in April. So we will see what I need to do in May, kind of assess and see if I need to make some changes. So my first idea is, of course, to stock the fridge and pantry weekly with protein and produce. I also am aiming to get 100 grams of protein this month each meal and only be eating fruit for my sugar or dessert, if you will. My goal will be to get to 10K steps daily, but I'm going to set myself up with a minimum of 8,000 steps a day. My goal is 10, but if I at least get 8, I feel like that will be an accomplishment. I also need to change up my workout routine, I think, to help increase muscle stimulation, improve that muscle growth, and body fat loss. My third goal is a mindset goal, basically just to decrease anxiety and stress. So I have to organize, deep clean, and simplify our home, mainly through deep cleaning these months. Last month, I tackled a lot more of the common areas, and this month I'm going to tackle more of the private areas. Although the kitchen got pushed into this month, it was supposed to be done last month, but we ended up doing the guest room the week I was going to do the kitchen. So I'm planning to address one zone per week, and I have those listed out. Again, setting aside 4+ hours a week to make sure that the deep cleaning happens and that I have time to actually tackle this goal. I have Sundays set apart right now for this task since I did it last month and that worked out pretty well. So I'm going to plan on Sundays this month as well. And then I need to remember to gather any cleaning or organizational items that I need ahead of the cleaning. So just a reminder there in my goals to pick up those things before the weekend. And then for my fourth goal, I've looked at my vision board and decided to tackle a self-care goal this month. I have felt pretty burnt out lately, specifically with just social media in general. So I'm thinking, it would probably be good to de-stress, recoup, and take some time off for some self-care and hopefully combat the burnout I'm feeling overall. It is my birthday month, and I plan to, take some time to enjoy my birthday. So I think scheduling in a self-care weekend around my birthday will be a nice way to just kind of enjoy that. I'll set aside some tasks to do as far as self-care maintenance and fun for the weekend that I have set aside. I plan to maybe do a mani-pedi. An at-home facial would be nice. Find some time to just relax and actually read a book instead of always doing audiobooks while I do other things. Have a movie night would be fun and just take the night off and maybe even get some takeout to go along with that. I think those are some fun goals. At least that last one's a fun goal to help combat the more intense work that I have to do with those other three goals. So, what I need to do next is to set aside the tasks that need to be done on a weekly basis pertaining to both those goals and anything I know will take up a large chunk of time each week so that I can plan around those things and make sure that they're time blocked in appropriately. I've just mapped out the date span for the 5 weeks there in May. I have an overlap of last month's goals there on week 1, so I'll be transferring over a few items from that last week that I have left over from my April goals as well that are still needing to be done. I've also mapped out that I have a birthday week in week 4 so that I can also plan accordingly for that. Now, the first thing I normally have to enter in is my video production schedule. I've been splitting up the filming and voicing of each video that I do for the week on one day and then the editing and posting on another day so that I have half the day to tackle any freelance projects that I also have to do and balance out my schedule accordingly. That's how I've been doing it this year, and that's been working out pretty well so that I can do things that need to be done right away for freelance, but also have time to produce social media video production. So I'm just going to write those in really quick on the first 4 bullets for each week, since I know every week these are tasks that need to be done and take up quite a bit of time. I will also be adding in my freelance design schedule as well as things come in. It's a kind of fluid schedule. Things, get thrown at me at last minute, or I don't really have always a clear view of what's going to be needed in the week. So as I get that information, I will put that into this schedule as well so I can kind of see where things will fit in. But for now, these will be pretty solid that they have to be done. And so I'm just going to write those all in on those first 4 bullets. So next I'm looking at my goals and seeing what weekly kind of milestones or tasks I have set to accomplish. And so for my first work goal, that Etsy goal, I decided that I wanted to have one size done each week. I am just writing in that, defining what size I'll be tackling each week. This should be possible. But I'm gonna have to really stay focused and on it to make sure that this gets done because I have quite a few products in my shop and they do take quite a bit of effort and time to set up and QC and PDF and all that good stuff to make sure that they're nice and clean for you guys. Next, I am going to look at that mindset goal about deep cleaning and organizing the house. So I've set aside zones to tackle each week, and I'll write those in now. I'm taking the zones that I think will be less time consuming and putting those near the end of the month since I'm going to try to have a birthday week and really, enjoy some time that weekend. So less stress in that weekend. Plus, I only have 4 zones, so if it doesn't happen that birthday week, I can push it into week 5 as well and not really lose anything because of that. And like I said, that birthday week, I have the self-care goal, so I'm going to just plan to do that full self-care day on Saturday and get maybe the mani-pedi on Friday, do some shopping maybe on Friday, just kind of take that day as well for self-care. Each month, I need to check in with myself, make sure that my body composition is changing and for the better. So I'm going to write in those body comp checks and measurement checks in on the first of the month in both week 1 and week 5. And then I have one thing kind of hanging over from April's goals, which is to finalize my vacation plans for the summer. So I wanted to make sure that I added that in for this last week in April going into May. And here I'm just going to quickly write in the days when I think I'm going to be able to tackle some of these items, including the deep cleaning and then also the video production. This week, the April into May week, I did just feel really tired on Monday and not interested in doing any video production. So I pushed it to Tuesday. Hopefully I won't have to do that in following weeks, but I do have the flexibility to do that if need be, so that is what I did. And that pretty much is my process for monthly goals. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, to go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch, and think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Bye!